Welcome to a brand new episode of Picks with Rich Recap Show. I'm your host, Rant and Rich, and as always, I want to thank you for watching today. UFC 221 went down this past Saturday, February 10th, 2018 in Perth, Australia. It was headlined by Rockhold and Yoel Romero. And before we get into the picks, I do have to say that I was pleasantly surprised. This fight caught me off guard. This whole card caught me off guard. It exceeded my expectations. I came into this not really knowing how it was going to turn out. If you guys can remember, I wasn't too excited about this fight, but it ended up really well. So you got to give it up to the UFC. They've been putting a lot of good fights together. And more importantly, you got to give it to the fighters, because some of these guys with the smaller names definitely have something to prove. And, I mean, from start to finish, it was an exciting card. Okay, so first up, we had Tyson Pedro versus Saberback Safarov. We had Pedro at a minus 240, and Safarov was at a plus 200. Mr. Willie J, Sega Genesis, and myself all got 6 points for that one. We picked Safarov by submission. Safarov ends up winning by submission in the first round, so we did get the 1 point for that heavy favorite, and then we got the 5 points additional for the props. Second up, we had Jake Matthews versus Li Jingliang. We had Matthews at a plus 168. Jingliang was at a minus 195. Matthews wins by decision. New Guy Randy and myself both got 10 points for that. We got the 5 points for the underdog, 5 points for the props. So 10 points for the both of us. Third up, we had Ty Tuivasa versus Cyril Asker. Tuivasa, confident Tuivasa ends up winning. First round TKO, Mr. Willie J, Sega Genesis, and myself all got the 6 points for that. Again, heavy favorite. We got the 1 point and we got the 5 points tacked on top for the prop. Co-main event, Mark Hunt versus Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes ends up winning by decision. Interesting fight. I think Blaydes at one point after he got rocked, and the fight could have been finished if it went on just a little longer, he got smart and he thought that this is a legendary Mark Hunt that I'm fighting. His fist hurt and I need to be a little bit smarter. So for Mark Hunt fans, I'm sure it was frustrating. He keeps taking them down, stays on top of them. Very successful with the takedowns, ground and pounds, ends up winning by decision. Mr. Willie J and Sega Genesis both thought he was going to win by TKO knockout, but they did get the 3 points for that. I picked decision. I ended up getting 8 points. All right, so last but not least, we had the main event, Yoel Romero versus Rockhold. Started out a little iffy. I wasn't sure. I know they were just feeling each other out. They were trying to get each other's speed and distance, the range, the whole thing. So I get that part, but I was getting a little nervous. I was starting to nod off a little bit towards the second round. But no, in all seriousness, great fight. Respect to both fighters. Yoel, he ends it in the third round, as you guys, I'm sure, already know. He's so sneaky, so fast for a guy his size. I cannot believe how quick he can get into the pocket and then bounce back out. That's exactly what he did. He caught Rockhold slipping for just a split second. That's all it takes. And he is so powerful that that's really, again, all it takes. He finished it up. First rocked him, hit him a couple times on the ground, completely finished him, completely out. So got to give it to both fighters, though. I mean, like I said, the fight started off a little technical, and then that happened out of nowhere. Surprised me, jaw-dropping. Not so much surprised that Yoel could knock somebody out because he's done it before, but surprising how fast it was. And you do see that sometimes, but you got to give it to him. Now, the next thing I have to say before we get into the points on this one was a lot of controversy. He did miss weight. It didn't look like he was to the point where he was going to be hospitalized, which is a good thing. You never want to see that, but I think at a certain point he said, I'm not going to make it, and ended up he's 3 pounds heavier than he was supposed to be. At the weigh-ins, he looked good. He looked pumped. He looked like he was ready to go. Didn't look sucked in. Didn't look like he was wobbly, or you know how you can tell. On the other hand, Rockhold did look somewhat of these things. He had a post-weigh-in interview, and along with chugging the juice, the electrolytes, which is a normal thing, which he's supposed to do, his voice was a little raspy. He was a little pale in the face. He was a little weak looking. you could say it's typical, but I guess my point is that the winner of the fight didn't have to really go through that. And it's unfortunate. And I don't know what they're going to do. I really have no idea what they're going to do. I've heard both sides of the story. Yoel Romero is going to fight Robert Whitaker for the actual belt, the 185-pound middleweight belt. And others are saying it's unfair, it's not going to happen because of the weight cut. So I'm not sure. As the week goes on, the week progresses, I'm sure we'll find out more about this story. But let's get into the one guy that did pick Yoel Romero, is new guy Randy. He got the 5 points for the underdog, and he got the 5 points for the bonus, so congrats to him. I did not see that coming. Luke Rockhold actually was winning. He was not dominating, but he was definitely winning, I would say, on the scorecards up until that point that he got dropped and knocked out. But yeah, congrats for Randy for getting that one. So now let's get into the totals. We had Mr. Willie J and Sega Genesis tying at a total of 15 points. We had new guy Randy coming in, beginner's luck maybe, I don't know, 20 points for the game. And myself, Rant and Rich, I am king of all picks once again. I told you guys, without sounding too arrogant, it was going to happen. I told you on the last show, I told Sega Genesis, but I'm back. PWR, title holder, king of all picks. I hold the crown. I am in the throne. What more can I say? So for percentages, we had new guy Randy. He had the lowest. He had 2 out of 5 fighters and 2 out of 5 props, which gave him a 40%. I'm sure if he comes on the show next time, he'll do better than that. He did come in second place, and that's due to the odds. There's obviously a fluctuation when we're dealing with minuses and pluses, point system, all that stuff. So he did come in second place with the game, so you got to give it to him on there. Good job, Randy. So again, tied was Mr. Willie J and Sega Genesis. They both had 3 out of 5 fighters and 2 out of 5 props, giving them a total 50%. I'm sure they'll do better next time. If you guys forgot, Sega Genesis took over the crown. Last event, he got 80%. I think he got 5 out of 5 fighters total, and then 3 out of 5 props, I believe. Either way, he ended up with 80%, which is very well. Speaking of 80%, the king, myself, Rant and Rich, 80%. I got 4 out of 5 fighters and 4 out of 5 props. Did pretty well, if I do say so myself. I don't want to sound too cocky, even though I knew the crown was going to come back home. And that's exactly where it is. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for Picks with Rich UFC 222. I think that event's happening in March 2018. So it's coming up pretty fast. Make sure you tune in for that one. And until next time, Rant and Rich signing out from sunny SoCal. I'm out of here. Blaydes.